Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis, coming to you from the Ventura Cigar Company studio, and with me today is John McTavish. How you doing, John?
I'm doing well, and then there were two.
That's right. So today we are talking about the CAO Nicaragua Granada, and that is a Toro 6x50. Comes out of the STG Esteli factory in Nicaragua. The wrapper is from Honduras. The binder is from Honduras, and I don't think you could call it the CAO Nicaragua unless it was builder from Nicaragua. So blended by Rick Rodriguez, $6.99, released in August of 2018. With all that out of the way, John, what was your smoking experience like?
Man, when you describe the blend profile, that makes so much sense in my head, and I'm gonna talk about it later. But so the first third, I kind of got some spices, some cedar, some bready notes, which is interesting. But none of the notes were particularly strong or complex. I found the spices kind of became sort of a sharp, intense on the retrohale, and not in terms of complexity. Just they seemed to really spike in the retrohale, which was surprising given how soft they were on the regular draw. Cedar started to carry into the post draw, and there's a little bit of earthiness joining it. There was a little bit of chocolate offsetting that once the cigar settled in. And then about halfway through, a little bit in, there was some mild black pepper kind of sitting at the back of my throat. In the middle third, the spices did kick up in intensity to maybe a medium plus. The cedar really took over the post draw, so the earthiness was just gone. The cedar just completely took over the post draw, and then the spices were so intense they started carrying into the post draw as well. But no other flavor evolutions for me in the middle third, and then the last third, the cedar just disappeared from the post draw, and really all it was carrying the flavor profile was just some slight sweet cocoa, and really that's about it. I had some real issues with the construction on this one, so I'm not sure if I just got a bad sample, but cigar went out 3 times in the first third, once in the middle third, and once in the last third, and it's stored with the rest of my review samples, so I know it's not a humidity issue on my end. So once I kind of got it going, the burn itself was slightly wavy, never required any touches up other than the relights. And the ash held on in 1 inch increments. So I'm not sure if there's just a blend problem with this particular sample. Draw itself I rated as good. It was sort of 2 notches into the tight scale, but it was still serviceable. So it's quite possible that the tightness was maybe what the issue was with the burn. What was your experience like, Aaron?
Yeah, for me, the cigar started out with some wood, baking spice, kind of a subtle stone fruit sweetness to it. A little further in, that stone fruit sweetness was replaced by some mustiness. 3/4 of an inch in, a little bit of sweetness returns on random draws, kind of pushing through the mustiness level. Retrohale is primarily mustiness with some wood and baking spice in the background. Further in, the wood, baking spice, mustiness were all at equal levels. As the third's wrapping up, the mustiness took slight lead over the wood and the baking spice. Strength was kind of at the mild medium level. Getting in the second third, a little bit of cream joins in with that musty wood and the baking spice. A little further in, some char joins in with the profile. About an inch in, that charred wood and mustiness are up front. Baking spice cream in the background. Along with the musty wood, the retrohale also carried a little bit of a floral note to it. About an inch and a half in, some of that floral note kind of makes its way into the mouth draws, kind of along with the musty wood, cream, and baking spice. And as the second, third coming to a close, that mustiness and the creaminess both increase a little bit. Strength kind of remains at that mild medium mark. Getting the final third, musty wood up front, a little bit of creaminess in the background. No longer any baking spice in the profile at all. About a half inch in, the mustiness really picks up as the wood gains a little bit of a char again. About an inch in, cigar begins to heat up. A fair amount of mintiness joins in with that mustiness up front. Charred wood is in the background. That's kind of how the cigar wraps up. Strength bumps up to be just slightly below medium mark. In regards to construction, though, I think I got a bit the better sample. Burn was slightly wavy, didn't need any attention though. Ash held on an inch and a half increments. And in regards to the draw, it was perfect. I couldn't have asked for a better draw from a cigar. So overall, what were your thoughts on this one, John?
So we had the chance to smoke these in Las Vegas, and I wasn't really impressed, and I shouldn't say impressed. I wasn't wowed. It didn't blow my skirt up, and that's a tough environment to properly measure a cigar. So it was nice to bring them back and sample them here. But unfortunately, I had a very similar experience. This is what I would definitively call an average cigar. The flavor profile just didn't wow me. It didn't have anything that sets it across from the thousands of other cigars that are on the market. And when you talk about it having Honduran tobacco, that makes a lot of sense for me because so often for me, a Honduran Nicaraguan blend is just really boring. It appeals to a lot of cigar smokers out there looking for that particular profile, but for me, there's just not enough going on to keep me interested, especially if I'm smoking for 2+ hours.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the cigar had a pretty linear profile, kind of wood, baking spice, and the mustiness. Some cream was present at times, along with a little bit of a char of the wood, but nothing's fancy. Strength was below medium the whole way, so that's for lighter strength smokers, that's a good thing. Um, I get a similar profile from this cigar that I get from a lot of cigars from General, and the only way I can really describe that is kind of a homogenized tobacco character to it. I don't know how else to really
Yeah,
word that. Um, but I mean, I could see this cigar doing really well with fans of that smoke a lot of General offerings.
yeah.
I think it's even a good cigar to offer up to a new cigar smoker
Hmm.
or someone that wants to try a Nicaraguan cigar for the first time.
Yeah,
Um, you know, uh, I'm probably not going to be the target audience. I'm probably not going to go back to this cigar again. Um, but I could see the cigar doing really well with a lot of the kind of the people that smoke general stuff and the casual cigar smokers. It's got that it's got that um, kind of good enough flavor profile and that
yeah,
not above medium strength level. So it's
yeah,
right in that wheelhouse. So that's kind of where I'd place it. Getting the scores, I gave it a 5.65. John, you gave it a 4.95. I mean, I thought, fairly average overall.
yeah,
I had a really good construction. I think we scored it pretty well, the same. The only difference was the construction that we had on the cigar. So
yeah.
how do you think that 4.95 matched up for you?
Yeah, this is a low to mid fives cigar. This is the very definition of a low to mid five cigar. It's there's nothing wrong with it. It's just doesn't do enough to set it apart from the crowd. And I think you used a good term there, homogenized tobacco. And I don't know if maybe the issue is that they got burned with the release of the CAO Paloma a couple of years ago, which I thought was one of the best cigars they've released in a lot of years. And for whatever reason, the market just didn't really respond to that, and I think that was incredibly disappointing. They've had a lot of really great hits: the Anaconda, the Palone. I think the Steelhead series, the Steel Horse series, has been a solid performer for them. And when you talk about a cigar being Nicaragua, nothing in this cigar to me says Nicaragua. I mean, you
That's
could
right.
put jalapa in there and you get the aromatics from a jalapa, and it didn't have that for me. You could go Condega and get that funky musty. Didn't have that either. You go spicy with Esteli. And so I'm smoking it and I'm like, well, none of this cigar has the characteristics of what I think of when I think of Nicaraguan tobacco. And I think that's going to be disappointing for people who are looking for that. But like you said, the diehard general cigar smokers or even new cigar smokers, yeah, this is a great cigar for them.
Yeah.
It's a great introductory cigar for sure.
And the price point's attractive. I mean, it's 6.99,
Yeah,
so
that's a good price point for
it's
sure.
got a lot of things going for it for a new or a casual smoker. So I think it does well. Not for the
Not for the snobs,
not for the snobs, not for the
the
geeks.
geeks.
I
Yep,
just don't think it matches up for them. But
yep,
I mean, I guess they had to fill out a hole in their kind of I don't know what they call the series, but like the international series or wherever
yeah,
where they have it in the countries.
yep.
I just think if you're gonna go Nicaragua, you got to be a little bit more deeper into Nicaragua
Yeah, you got to be deeper
than that.
tobacco. Yep.
Yeah, you could have some. It can't just be Honduran wrapper and binder. I
No,
mean, you got to go do something else. So.
party foul.
Yep, exactly. All right, if you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us, but also check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Follow us on all the social media channels. You can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Nicaragua.